record. There we go.
Okay, so my presentation's on the movie Hereditary. The plot was like after Annie's mother had passed, Annie and her children began to unravel some strange events like cryptic and increasingly terrifying secrets about their ancestry, and especially their grandma's past. And the family tries to outrun what the grandma has done to them, but it's an inevitable fate for them. They didn't win any like big Academy Awards, but they did win a Saturn Award. I do not know how to pronounce that. I don't know if it's French or Spanish. But yeah, they won the POFCA Award for Best Actress. Collette did. They won a CFCA Award, Best Actress, once again, Toni Collette. They sent Euphoria, Best Film, Audience Award, Top 10 of the Year Award, and a Top 10 of the Year Award of International Competitive and Best Original Music, and also a Best Supporting Actor. They won a Chainsaw Award for Best Actress, Best Wide Release Film, and Best Director, and Best Screenplay, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Kill. Their best kill was Charlie Meek's head getting cut off by the telephone pole. They were also won a bunch of other awards. They were nominated for many awards like AFCA Award for Best Actress and Best First Film, which I don't even think that's correct. I don't think this was his first film, but this was one of his most popular films. They were nominated for ACCA Best Motion Picture Award and Best Actress in a Leading Role. Once again, I don't know if that's French or Spanish, but I'm not going to try to pronounce it. They were nominated for a BOFCA Award, Best Film, a BSFC Award for Best Film, New Filmmaker, a Bram Stoker Award for Screenplay, a Critics' Choice Award for Best Actress and Best Sci-Fi/Horror Film, a CFCA Award for Best Picture and Most Promising Filmmaker, a CFCC Award for Best Independent Film, Best Director, and Best Actress, and of course there was many other nominations. Here's our director, Ari Aster. I'm going to say this, he does not look like the guy that would typically write these types of movies. He's an American film director, screenwriter, and producer. He is best known for his writing and directing the A24 horror films like Hereditary, Midsommar, and Disappointment Boulevard. Do not watch the Midsommar. That is his best film I've ever seen. That's currently one of my favorite horror movies. That one was top notch. If you think this one's a surprise, just watch that one. He is known for his film techniques as match cuts and whip pans. Here's our composer, Colin Stetson. Is that right?
Stetson.
He's a Canadian-American saxophonist, multireedist, and composer. He's a member of the band Bone Ivory, which is an American indie folk band. He is best known for being a regular collaborator of indie rock acts such as Arctic Fire, Bone Ivory, Bell Orchestra, and XI. He's also known for his work on Hereditary, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Color Out of Space. Bear with me, there is a lot of information of each actors and actresses. We're going to start off with Toni Collette. She played Annie. This is Annie, if you didn't know. She's an Australian actress, producer, songwriter, and singer. She is best known for her parts in Hereditary, United States of Tierra, The Sixth Sense, Little Miss Sunshine, Knives Out, and if you don't know me until you listen to me rant about this movie. I'm thinking about ending things. That is most out there, bizarre movie I've ever seen to this day.
I haven't heard about that movie, Jaden. What's that movie about?
I wish I could tell you. It's so
Nobody
confusing.
knows what it's about. It's the stupidest movie.
Like my mom's right here next to me. She's like, I hate that movie because it was recommended to me.
I hate the people that recommended that movie.
And this movie, it's on Netflix. But if you thought
Don't give up
Mulholland
2 hours of
Drive
life.
was confusing, watch this one. You're gonna be like, why did I watch that? What the heck I watched?
I will not be watching that one.
Nightmare Alley and Muriel's a Wedding. She has won multiple awards, such as the Golden Globes Award for Best Performance by an actress in a television series, musical, or comedy. That was for the movie, show United States of Terror. Screen's Actors Guild Award for Outstanding Performance by a Cast in a Motion Picture. That was her film Little Miss Sunshine. Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. Once again, her United States of Terror. And a Gotham Independent Film Award for Best Actress. That was her award for Hereditary. And she's also won multiple other films, like awards, and a bunch of stuff. Here is Miss Millie Sharpo. She plays Charlie. We're over here. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but yeah, her real name's Amelia, but she goes by Millie Sharpo. She's an American actress and singer. I really surprised me that she was a singer. I really didn't know that. She is known for Hereditary, Matilda, Wormwood, and the Broadway production of Matilda the Musical. The Boblet Brothers, Dracula, and J. Billard's Fairy Tales. She has won a Tony's Award for Excellence in Theater. She won that for Matilda the Musical. She actually started off in Broadway. Same thing for, I don't know if any of you guys watch Stranger Things, but the guy who plays Dustin Hads was born with the same birth defect as her. And they both started off around in, I think, the same musical. I could be wrong about that. We also have Annie Downs, who plays Joan here. She's an American actress. She is known for her roles in Handmaid's Tale, Hereditary, Green Card, Garden States, I don't know how to pronounce that, Manchurian Candidate, Marley and Me. Didn't know she was a Marley and Me. Side Effects, and St. Vincent, and Captain Fantastic. She has won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Supporting Actress drama series. That was for her time in Handmaid's Tale. A Satellite Award for Best Supporting Actress for series and ministries or television film. Once again for her work in Handmaid's Tale. And a National Board of Review for Best Supporting Actress for Compliance. And Gabriel Breyer, he plays Steve. You can see Steve on fire. That scene was kind of funny. His name is Gabriel James Breyer. He's an Irish actor, filmmaker, producer, screenwriter, audiobook narrator, and author. So he has done everything. He's known for Lost Girls. I think that's a book. I think I actually have that book. The Man in the Iron Mask, In the Days, Hereditary, In Treatment, and Miller's Crossing. He has won 2 awards, a Golden Globes Award for Best Actor in a drama TV series. That was for his work in Treatment, an Outer Critics Circle Award for Actor in a Play, A Touch of a Poet, which he's not really known for. And he was also nominated for several other awards. And here is Alex Wolff, or Peter. He is an American actor, singer, and musician. He is known for the Naked Brothers Band. That was a Nickelodeon show that got turned into a movie, which you'll figure out later. The Naked Brothers Band, the movie, Human Capital, Hereditary, Castle in the Ground, Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, and My Big Fat Greek Wedding 2. He has won several awards, such as a BMI Film and TV Award for BMI Cable Award, the Naked Brothers for his work in the Naked Brothers Band, and a Brooklyn International Film Festival for both Best Actor and Certified of Excellence for his work in Hairbrained. The themes of this movie, I would say, are loss and grief, supernatural, witchcraft, works of the higher powers, cults, mental illness, possession, and trauma. As you can see here, you can see Annie cutting off her head with a piano wire, and our Charlie turns into Peter. It's actually Hamon being worshipped in the house. Some important scenes, there was a lot just because this is a whirlwind of a movie, was Charlie's death. Annie meeting Joan. Annie goes through her mother's things. She went through her mother's things twice originally. Once to just to remember her mother. That was the very beginning of the movie. And another time discovers the truth about what is going on and that she was part of the cult. Charlie cutting off the head of the bird. That was more so like a foreshadow of Charlie's head getting cut off and how she was already linked to something supernatural and how she was already crazy. Not crazy, but you know what I mean. Annie opening up about her family history of mental illness at grief therapy. Peter seeing Charlie's ghost in the corner of his room. That's when he, right before his nightmare, what we can assume was his nightmare was the click. Steve finds out about his mother-in-law's grave being vandalized. Steve dies of catching fire, which was shown in the previous scene. One of the previous scenes. Annie randomly hearing the clicking noise sound loudly in the car. Peter breaking his own nose. Annie yells at Peter and blames him for Charlie's death. They dance all over Charlie's decapitated head. I added that picture for you because I don't want you guys to forget that scene. Annie and Joan have a seance for Joan's son. Sorry, my little brother just tried to look at the screen. Seance for Joan. It was Joan's grandson. I misspoke there. Annie almost killing Peter again while sleepwalking. This is where she tells him that she wished she had a miscarriage and how she tried to have a miscarriage with him. Annie discovering her mother's body in the attic. I'm telling you, the flies in that scene, I felt like they were actually right after my eyes. Then Annie has a seance for Charlie. Annie beheads herself in front of Peter. The beheaded people bowing down to Peter, and of course the writing on the walls that showed up 3 times, but I like to find timestamp for 2 of them. Some fun facts. Toni Collette was very hesitant to take this lead role. Ari asked her avoid calling Hereditary a horror movie. Instead, he described it as a family tragedy that curls into a nightmare. Another fun fact, Alex Wolff offered to break his own nose, but the studio's like, you can't do that. Well, we appreciate the offer, but we will get sued. Charlie's death scene, as gruesome as it really was supposed to be more gruesome, but they had to tone it down. When they first showed it to everyone, they're like, okay, we're going to have to dial that back. There's no way we can show this in today's time. Especially that. Hereditary was partly inspired by Ari Aster's real life. His family him and his family endured a crazy series of traumatic events over a course of a few years, with circumstances became so grim he dubbed it as a curse. The cult sin is hidden throughout the movie, like on Annie's necklace, the not pillowcases, but like the rug mats, and like of course the telephone pole. which is some few places. Tony Collette wore a prosthetic neck and hacked into it with a piano wire for the decapitation scene. We never really see Charlie in the film. She's Paimon the entire time. So the moment she was born, that's who she was. The dolls Charlie makes, in particular the one with the pigeon head, ended up on the table shrine in Joan's apartment, along with the picture of Peter's eyes being burnt out or cut out. The ants are a symbolic thing for death, decay, and decomposition. Chocolate is often associated with sin, temptation, which explains why Charlie was obsessed with it. And I forgot to mention this, but Paimon is the demon best known for being a jokester. So, like, you think of Loki from Norse mythology, he was the god of mischief. This is what Paimon was in this religion. Ari jokingly said the word Macbeth out loud, and during the next filming scene, one of the lights just burst. Like, he instantly regretted it. The 4 words are all in Hebrew. Stated means Zazas, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last one, have a very important meaning. Stadomi is associated with bringing back the dead from bringing the dead back to life. Zazu is to summon a demon, and the first one, Lipchit, it means open, and
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium, it means chaos. These words are, though put together, or invoke the rising of a demon, especially King Paimos. King Paimos' face has always been very feminine, while his body and persona is masculine. And you can see that reason why he starts out as Charlie, a very feminine character, and dies and goes to her brother, Peter. And at the end, you see him in a crown because he's always wore a crown. And in case you're all wondering what Millie Sharpo was born with, she was born with Flippin Crana I can't today. My speech impediment is not allowing me to say words. But that's when just like guy that plays Destin on Stranger Things, when they lose their baby teeth and stuff, it takes forever to come back in case you didn't know that. Which is a little fun fact there. Here are my discussion questions.
So very good, Jaden. Very good. Lots of good details there. So very good introduction to the film. Before we get to our questions, I'm actually going to pull your power. You can go ahead and stop your share if you want, Jaden. And then I'll keep your questions on my other screen here. We'll keep up with them. Let's see. Okay, I have them pulled up on my other screen. So let me make sure. Okay. So before we get to Jaden's questions, what's your guys' thoughts, general impressions on the film?
That was my first time watching it. I did not like seeing the little girl's death. That was horrifying for me. I thought it was pretty good for a horror film. I just hated that I had to see her dead. I almost cried on that part, and I've never cried in scary movies. I love scary movies so much, but I about cried. I was like, oh my God, and I was tripping out over her death. I was like, oh man, that was horrible. I didn't like that one.
Yeah, I remember when I saw it in the theater, Aline, when it came out a couple of years ago. I think everybody's shocked when they see that scene. It comes out of nowhere.
I love the movie. It's one of my favorite horror films of the last decade or so. It kind of introduced me to elevated horror. And after I watched that one, I fell in love with like The Witch and It Follows. But yeah, the when I was in theaters watching it with my friends, they were laughing because they just didn't like it, and it's the effect it has on some people. But when the girl's head got cut off, I was like, oh, okay. I think that's when I realized it was a really good movie. I started getting more invested.
Yeah, it's a bit of a slow burn movie, so it's very creepy and unnerving. It doesn't really hit you with jump scares so much. So some people were all about the jump scares, and this movie is more psychological and in your head. So that might be a reason. I was going to say that might be a reason why your friends didn't like it, Brandon.
Yeah, well, they marketed these movies really weird when they first started coming out in the mid 2010s, like The Witch first, and it was marketed as the next big horror film, and then this one here was supposed to be like some scary, crazy thing, and my friends were expecting like Insidious, and came in and it was just completely the opposite. So that's what I think the big issue was.
I really like the movie. I love scary movies. They're probably my favorite. The scene with the girl's head where it had the ants, that was awful. It's disgusting. And the ending when Peter was actually Charlie, I thought that was a shock. And also another thing, the lady that played Joan, I remember her I don't know if you guys have watched The Handmaid's Tale. It's pretty crazy. She plays like a really horrible person in that movie or in that show. And she stood out to me because I can't stand her. I couldn't stand her in this either. But I really like the movie a lot.
This was also my first time watching it, and I liked it. It was really good.
What did you like about it, Shay?
I liked like how psychological it was, like how it was just different from scary movies to me. I really just liked how it was more psychological because usually they do like jump scares and stuff like that, but this was more. It was more different, and I really enjoyed that.
This was my
my
second,
first
my
one.
second time watching this movie, and I never understood why they had naked people just standing in like the shadows. It was so weird.
That really shocked me too.
No,
This is
Yeah, I
my
didn't
first time
understand that.
I think it was because
At the
like
end, it was
paganism, witchcraft. Some people think that they run around naked and stuff like that. When people talk about like the naked witches dancing in the woods, doing crazy stuff. I don't know. I read some crazy books. But I like.
I just thought it was kind of funny because
This was my first time watching it. I'm not a fan of the scary movies. This was it was not a jump scary movie, but some of the psychological oh my goodness, I don't know, I just was not a fan of it. I did really like the discussion questions. Like I felt like it was a movie that you could really, because it was like a psychological movie, I felt like there's so many, like from beginning to end, that you can really sit down and discuss and like break down. I had a tough time like picking which discussion question to write about because there was so much that that you could kind of like touch on. But the part even where Jaden just mentioned like a lot of the like the words, the satany and like different words and stuff like that during the movie, because I was trying to understand it better, so I would like stop the movie and rewind and like read like what the words were like written on the bedroom wall and like things like that, because I was trying to like understand it. But I'm not going to say that I liked the movie or that I enjoyed the movie, but I just I like the fact that you can break down and discuss so much about it. I didn't like the movie, but I like that you can talk about so much of it.
Horror's just not your genre, Stacy.
No, no. And one part, I don't know if anybody has ever watched The Grudge. Like, I watched The Grudge. Me and some friends, we went to the theater to watch The Grudge. Like, I don't know, that was like early 2000s. I think, I can't remember when it came out. It's been a long time ago, but that pretty much did it for me. Like, and which around Halloween, like, I can always watch the Halloween movies, but those to me aren't like, scary. It's just like you do it at Halloween. But no, like The Grudge, like the people like floating across the wall, like, and things like that. No, it flipped me out. I did not like it. And then in this movie, I was thinking that will never happen in any other movie. And then what happens? Me and Jeff are sitting there watching the movie together, and he's like, "Oh," he said, "Babe, do you see the woman on the wall?" And I did not see her at first, like when she was behind. I think it was Peter, when Annie was first behind Peter. Oh gosh, like I was sitting there like with my eyes covered because I was like, no. And she was in it in a few other parts. So no, I don't know why, but that ever since that movie, The Grudge, no, I did not care for that part.
This is my first time watching the movie, and hopefully my last time as well. I'm not a big horror movie guy either. Well, I mean that doesn't mean I thought it was a bad movie though. I thought it was a good movie for like what it was, just not my type of movie. But yeah, I did think it was pretty good. The psychological horror they did in this film, it was very well done. But yeah, it's not my type of movie. I wouldn't say.
Yeah, Jaden mentioned earlier Ari Aster's other movie, that Midsummer. If you guys like this psychological horror stuff, that one is really good too. I taught Midsummer back in the fall semester, so I did this one this semester. Midsummer is really messed up and weird and creepy too. So
What I
That's my
liked about
favorite
it,
out of his work.
what I liked about the movie though, not many movies in horror scares me, but that really had my adrenaline pumping and had me like, oh my God, I'm got in a lot of parts, So that's what I liked about it. I liked the adrenaline rush it gave me. And I was like, woo, that was a long time I've had that one. So I liked it because it gave me a big adrenaline rush, especially when she lost her head. Oh my God, that was horrible.
Yeah, that is another thing that it does definitely keep you on the edge of your seat, like wondering what's going to happen next. Like, it does keep you focused on the movie, wanting to just watching every second, waiting for something to happen, because it does keep your attention.
You guys keep mentioning that scene, but I forgot to mention the scene before it where she starts having allergic reactions. The girl was not cutting up ginger, because that's what I originally thought it was ginger root. She was cutting up walnuts, and that same knife was used to cut up the cake. That's the reason why she was having that allergic reaction. Most people think it's some type of fruit, but I actually have walnuts in my bag, and I was chewing on them. It's the only reason why I knew it was walnuts.
That made me so mad though. My son has allergies and we carry an EpiPen, and just the irresponsibility of the parents, because she's eating the chocolate at the funeral. Oh, we didn't bring the EpiPen. If her allergy was that severe, wouldn't they keep one in their vehicle? Wouldn't they keep one on them at all times? I mean, my son has his pen all the time, and it just irked me that they knew she had that allergy and that pen wasn't on them. I don't know. It was a really, I don't know, triggering scene to me that, there was no pen. And when they told about the pen at the funeral, I was like, she's going to die and it's going to be anaphylactic shock. I know it's going to happen because, these parents are irresponsible, and she died. Even though it wasn't from the shock, it was from beheading, but it just made me mad.
Yeah, I kind of wish I thought about that when I was writing my discussion question, because I did the one like where you had to decide whether you thought it was Allie or Peter's fault for Charlie's death. But I didn't really think it was her fault too much, because she didn't know what kind of party he was going to, and she was just wanting Charlie to go out and get some interaction. But yeah, that's it. That is true. They definitely should have kept one on them at all times if her allergy was that serious.
Of course, we learned that that accident wasn't an accident, right? That was planned by the cult. Yeah, Jaden mentioned earlier the cult sign was on the telephone pole, right? That was almost like this marker where they planned it out. Of course, they wanted to plan it out, right? Because the demon wanted a male host instead of a female host.
Yeah, I recognized how like the grandma and the granddaughter were really close, and I feel like maybe the grandma offered the granddaughter first and was like, "Here's a way in," and that's why the girl was so weird.
Hmm.
And then she was like, "All right, so she's gonna die by beheading," and I feel like they set that up as well, just so they can get to the boy a little bit. Yeah, and I love Peter's reaction. It's not like in most normal films they'd act crazy and start freaking out, but like his reaction is probably more realistic, where he would just be in shock. Like I love it. And then like he's laying in bed, and the filmmaking technique with the mom going down and seeing the daughter, and his reaction. You can hear the mom screaming. That's scarier than any cheesy horror film that anybody can make.
Like, from my point of view, would you be able to tell your parents something like that if it would happen to you? Because I wouldn't be able to tell somebody.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Go ahead, Jess.
I honestly thought when he came back and he went straight to his room, I thought he was going to hang himself or something like that, like his uncle. Because I was just like, because you know how they talked about the uncle hanging himself. I thought it was like foreshadowing, but it wasn't. But I thought he was going to hang himself because I mean he just completely dissociated. I can't say the word from that. Like he just went blank. Like went home, just lost all emotion, just pretty much went to bed and acted like it didn't happen. But I don't know. He just like completely like split his personality into just by that. And what were you saying about the cult planning everything? I think, you know how she said Charlie was never there. She like it was all the demon. Wouldn't the demon like knew that and like purposely like eat the chocolate like planned? I know that the cult planned it, but I don't know. I think she was in there. I do think the little girl was in there. I do think the little girl was in there because I think they was keeping it from her, like that. The demon did like propel her to go out the window or something like that. But I don't know. It just seems way coincidental, which I know they did plan it, but how did they know to do all that?
Yeah, you get from the very first shots of the film, early when they're at the funeral and Charlie goes up. I think Jaden mentioned Charlie goes up to the food table, and then the dad's like, okay, does that have nuts in it? Right. That was like a really subtle detail early, but you actually see some of the people, the cultists, in that scene sitting there watching her, even from those very first minute of the film at the funeral. So like they would be aware that she has that allergy because they were sitting, a couple of those cultists. If you look at, I would have to pull the film up to show you, but I don't have access to it unless it's on a DVD.
I remember the guys looking at her.
Yeah, those guys are looking at her, and those guys show up again later. And it's kind of crazy, like how involved the cult is in the movie. The English teacher in the movie, like the guy teacher, right? He's in the cult. I think he's one of the naked people upstairs, right?
He was he was in the room with actually Peter and Tony, like cutting her head off, along with the woman waving at Charlie in the beginning of the movie. And I think Joan was there as well.
Yeah, Jones, the creepy voice at the end who goes, "Hail Paimon, King of the Demons," right? As you guys watch the film, were you guys like something is off with this little girl? Um,
Yes.
tell me your thoughts, Allie.
Well, when she cut the bird's head off, I was like, oh my goodness, she's just an evil little thing, ain't she? I was like, she does some creepy stuff. And the toys that she kept making herself and playing with them, I was like, wow, that's a little bizarre.
I was thinking the same thing when she cut the bird's head off and just put it in her pocket. Like, that's not weird.
That's what makes me think that it's really the demon inside of her, because like it's that pagan seems to be so like enamored with beheading things that it kind of plays into my idea from that I got from watching the film again.
Yeah, she makes that weird clicking noise with her mouth too, right? Yeah, Peter makes that noise later in the movie too, right? That little noise.
Yeah, I thought that was creepy. That made it really cool. I thought her doing that noise all the time. I was like, ooh, that's cool. I like that.
Let's see, we can get to some of Jaden's questions here. Well, we talked about the girl. Maybe let's talk about the parents. Annie and what was Annie's husband's name?
Steve.
Steve. Yeah, I really like Steve in the movie. Like he's a really good parent.
Yeah, I liked him too. I thought he was a pretty good parent, but I didn't like him bursting into flames like that.
Right.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, like Tony's face during that scene, just I couldn't help but laugh when Steve caught on fire and that face she made. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, there's a little bit of dark humor there for sure.
I didn't like how she's I thought she was a mean mom, especially with the way she didn't really want her son. And I'm like, wow, she's a horrible mother for not wanting one of her kids like that. That was just weird.
Do you guys think that happened, or was that a dream of hers?
That's what I was about to say. I feel like that was a dream. I don't feel like that happened because she woke up.
Mm.
But she did act like she didn't really like him the whole movie.
That's
She
what
was
I'm
forced to
talking
have
about.
him. She was forced to have him. I think that was originally supposed to be Paimon, but where there was a no contact rule, it kind of limited the cult's options. That's why she had Charlie engage Charlie to her mom. Would you like to be forced to have a kid? Especially I think she was young when she had him too. So, and like he was born out of resentment. So I can understand why she was a little cold towards him. I don't agree that she hated him or anything, but I can understand why she was a little bit cold towards him.
Yeah, I know she tried to have an abortion, right?
Mm.
I thought she said at one point.
I think that was the dream when she said all that.
Mm-hmm.
Did she
Yeah,
know
it was
about the
the dream.
cult though? Like, be forced to have him. I thought she didn't know about the cult to the end. I was thinking that she was forced to have him, like, she was young, got with the dad didn't want, because it seemed like she had some resentment towards her husband, I felt, and that he had resentment towards her. And I thought, well, maybe they was young, she got pregnant, didn't want to have an abortion, and pretty much she was like goaded into having him, is how I took it. I didn't think it, but I didn't think about the daughter. I thought then after she had him, the mom came back in the picture and then pressured her to have another one, and that's what Charlie came to be. I didn't think the mother forced her. I thought maybe her husband forced her to have him when she said that, because she didn't know about the cult and stuff, is what I thought.
Yeah, I thought the husband was upset at her. I can't remember what she said she did, but she had said she did something and he held that against her. But I can't remember what she said he did. So I thought that's why he was like upset with her. I can't remember though what she said.
Sleepwalking when she tried to catch the kids on fire.
Yes, that's what it was. When she had that and she tried, yeah. Because he didn't believe that she was sleepwalking. So I thought that's why he like never was okay with her.
Why did she sleepwalk though? I just throwing that out there. She probably didn't know exactly what the cult was, but she knew back in her head something was clearly up, something was going on always, and maybe she was trying to protect her kids. Think about why she sleepwalked in the beginning, and how each time right before her mother's passing, when her mother came into the picture, and right after Charlie died, think about all the instances where she sleptwalked.
During the counseling scene, we find out that her brother had killed himself when she was growing up. Maybe that kind of plays into it. Maybe the mom was trying to do the ritual on her brother, and he killed himself. So then she realized that her son, when she found out he was a boy, would be in the same graces as her brother. So she didn't want to have him, so he wouldn't turn out as messed up. And that's probably why she wouldn't let her mom see him. But then when she had her daughter, maybe she was kind of like, okay, here, let's just don't touch my son.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Brennan. In that scene, she says that he said that in his suicide note, he said that it was because she tried to put spirits in him or something, right? Was you want to say something there, Jessica, before I?
No, I accidentally hit it.
Yeah, so Jalen's question here is, do you think all the mental illness that runs in Annie's family is actually a higher power that led them to their death? Why did you not feel that way? So she's pretty much asking, is this sort of mental illness, this long history of being involved with these like bigger forces?
I think that the mom and that family is the select family for the demon, and it kind of causes a bunch of mental issues. But I believe that it has to do with how they interact. Like the mom's the one that kind of set it into motion. Probably something her parents did too. And but that for the longest time, I never knew where the name came from. After I watched it the first time, I was like, why is it called Hereditary? It's just issues. But then after looking into it this time, I realized that it's because I think the pagan comes down into the family tree and just continuously ruins their lives until he finds a host. So that's probably the reason they got the name for the movie and everything. It's an hereditary disease almost.
I thought the title of the movie was a really good movie. Like once I watched it from beginning to end, I agree with what Brennan said. Like because it was something, So I thought Hereditary was a really good name for the movie.
Yeah, of course, we know with stuff like mental illness, that does run in families, right? Said my internet connection is unstable. Hopefully, I didn't freeze on you guys. Another one of Jaden's questions is about Annie in the scene where she kind of like blows up on Peter, right? So like that scene where she kind of just like completely hits him hard with like all that pent up emotion. What did you guys think of that scene?
That was actually the question I picked, I thought it was reasonable because she had just like lost her daughter and then her mother and all that. Even though her mother and her didn't have a really good relationship, she still made, she still even said she loved her. So I think she just blew up with all the emotion and anger and blamed him. I felt bad for Peter, but I still think it's reasonable for her to have done that. As a parent, like, I don't know what I would do if something happened to my daughter. I'd probably be in a nut house. So I definitely think it's reasonable.
I can agree with you on that. I feel the same way, and that's my thoughts exactly. I was like, well, she had every right to, because I mean, when he first come home after the death, he just went straight to bed, and I'm like, nah, I thought that part was weird myself. And then, but I agree with you on this. She had every right to feel the way she felt and say what she said. I did feel bad for him as well, and everything. And I was like, wow. I felt that she was harder than really most parents would have been. But yeah, I understand her loss and pain. So yeah, I get it.
I agree with Eileen and Christina both. I think that they, like for her, like there was so much bottled up. Like, I mean, you're talking, coming from like a long line, like all the ancestry, like everything that was hereditary in her family and the mental illness and everything that she was dealing with, like losing her mom and just the anxiety of all of it. You could tell that there was tension between her and her husband from, past things that had went on. You could tell that there was, even when she was asking her son, like when he was leaving to go to that party, and it's like, are you going to be drinking? You could tell that there was something there. Otherwise she would not have been questioning the way that she was questioning. Like there was, like a previous incident that had happened. And she was concerned with that. That was her whole point of trying to get him to go, was it's like, okay, now you really can't drink because you've got Charlie with you. And, you could tell that there was so many things that had built up and everything that she had, like when she went to the first, grief session and everything that had happened, like with her brother. And a lot of times, like people with anxiety, like on the outside, they try to look so together and they try to look like everything's fine and everything's perfect until they're not, until it comes to a point where there's something, and it can be like the least little thing, like the little, I don't know if you'd call it like a smirk or whatever he did, like across the table, but like the least little thing can like be like the, like the straw that breaks the camel's back, like over nothing. And it can be all this stuff that's building up, but the least little thing can cause you to snap. And then it's like whoever's in the path of that, they're the ones that catches all of it, like everything that you've been building up. And as a parent, like I can see, I did feel bad for him, and some of the things, not saying that maybe some of the things that were said were a little too far, but I did feel bad for him. But I can see kind of like what, where she's coming from, like, losing her mom and going through all that, losing her daughter and going through all that, not to mention all the other things. So I can see, kind of, I wouldn't say relate to it, but I mean, I can just kind of tell where she's coming from. I did feel bad for Peter, and maybe some of the things that she said was a little bit too far, but with all the hurt and the grief and the heartache and everything that was going on, not knowing how else to express it really.
Build on Stacy's comment. What did you guys think of her building of the accident, like with the figurines and stuff? What did you guys think of that? Because the husband was like, "Are you kidding me? Really?"
I think it was her way of grieving. Like she needed to see it, like in her head, like what happened, and it was a way for her to like. I know it seemed like she was hyper focused and stuff like that, but it's how some people that have anxiety and stuff. It's somehow how they get out. They get hyper focused on a project to try to like cope with it, and I think she just needed to see what happened to kind of rationalize that it really did happen.
That's a good point. I think that she had like with her, like she was an artist, she was a designer, and I think for her, that was her way to maybe kind of like work through it, was to like put so much detail into it, kind of like somebody that, somebody that journals, or somebody that, writes, down their thoughts or poems, or, writes songs or paints, or, you know what I mean? Like so many different things, that they use as an outlet for whatever they've got going on. I think she was doing it because she was obviously talented, like with her doing like that, that level of detail into her designing. And I think for her, that was her way to like to work through it.
I'm gonna go off what you said. It's also the same. People think it's kind of morbid and stuff like that, but you got to think beauticians. Sometimes when the family member dies, they want to be the one to go in and do their hair and their makeup and stuff like that at the funeral home. And the same with nurses. Like when my aunt died and my grandparents, my mom being a nurse, and I'm the same way. She wanted to do the post-mortem care because she was there when she died. She wanted to give them the last bath and fixed her hair, and it's that sense of being able to provide that last little bit of care to someone that you care about, that, even though they're not there, it's, you're able to give them something. And some people may look at that, it's like, oh my God, you're touching a dead body. Oh my God, how can you stand to, wash somebody, but it's that closure. So, and I see it as, actually, so with her autistic, I think it was like a sense of closure. Some people just don't understand. Like someone that will write a poem about it to have closure. Someone that cares for people every day will want to do a caring act for them. Someone that does hair every day would want to do the hair and the makeup of the person. I think it was just her sense of having closure and showing that she cared.
Makes you feel closer to the victim. Like,
go ahead.
Sorry, Eileen. But it makes you feel closer to the victim. Like you're closer to your daughter. You see her last moments. I know in my family, when someone dies, we either take a ring. My mom cut her mom's piece of her hair and kept it. It's a way to feel close, to have that part of them still with you. So if she had her final moments there in the picture, that way she felt closer and she knew how she went and where she was.
I kind of thought that she was recreating her death scene in her little project that she was doing, because I think she was wanting understanding is the way I was taking it. But it was creepy, and I do agree with her husband saying, oh wow, you're really doing this? What if your son sees that? I thought that part was really true, that he should have said that, because I would have felt the same way. But I thought it was trying to understand more.
Maybe she's trying to exert some power over a situation where she's powerless. Yeah, just the bill on your comment there, Adeline. Trying to understand more, right? Maybe that's how she goes about doing it.
Well, my brother, he had died on a four-wheeler. He was on the main road. He didn't have a helmet on. And when he first died, when that big truck hit him, it almost decapitated him, but not fully. But I wanted understanding of his death, and I felt that was my closure, to try to understand it. And I ended up getting my closure, but not the way I wanted to. It was in a dream. It came to me in a dream because I kind of begged God for closure to help me understand his death and what happened to him in his death. But yeah, I got it in a dream. So yeah, God gave me my answer, but I didn't like the way I got it.
Yeah, so sorry to hear that, Aline. Sometimes that's how it happens. Though sometimes you get closure in ways you don't expect.
I felt like I shouldn't have begged God that hard for that closure to understand what happened with his death, but I got it, and it was really wild.
I just kind of wanted to bring it up while you were talking about it. I remember I had a crazy dream whenever my grandma passed away. I had a dream that I was at her house and she was preparing herself to go leave somewhere. She told me that she had to leave, and I see her like walking off into the hall with another person. The only three people are there. They're are me, my grandma, and my stepmom. And then I find out later on that my stepmom was actually the one who prepared her body and dressed her up for the funeral. I thought it was a fascinating dream to share.
Well, once in my dream, my mom came to protect my daughter, and I loved that dream because I was like, wow, she jerked my foot in my dream, and I was dreaming about her anyway, my mom and stuff. So, yeah, she came beyond the grave to protect my daughter. So, yeah, I got to rescue my daughter because my mom pulled my foot.
I was going to say, since we're on the subject of Annie's artistic project, this is a good chance to bring up another of Jaden's questions. She wrote, does the dollhouse play any significant part in the movie? So what is it? If not, why not? I don't know if you guys noticed, but that first shot in the movie is really interesting because the camera like goes and surveys this dollhouse, and then it just zooms in on that one little room, and then it comes into focus that you're in the bedroom. So that first shot of the movie is almost kind of feels like this demon or whatever it is, the way that it's outside of our reality, even like it looks at us like we're dolls in the dollhouse.
Wow, that was good. Oh my God, I can't believe how you described that. That was pretty good the way you described that because I kind of had that feeling to myself when the movie was coming on. I was like, whoa, that's creepy. Like something's watching them.
Yep.
Yeah, I recognize that as well. Is that the family are technically the dolls in that demon's like world, and it's kind of like they're the ones being manipulated for the way they want them to be. And I like that metaphor there. I think it's actually pretty cool, and that opening shot's pretty awesome too. I love camera work. So
Yeah, that was an awesome shot. The way they did that. When I saw that, I was very I thought it was pretty cool too when I saw it.
Yeah, I didn't put two and two together. I saw a YouTube video about it. I posted the YouTube video to our Brightspace page if you guys are interested. This guy broke down that first shot over like a 10-minute video. That's the hypothesis he put out. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely check that video out, Alan. There's this guy on YouTube named Rob Ager. He has a YouTube channel called Collette of Learning. And that's what he does. Like he breaks down all these scenes from all these different movies and gives you like hardcore analysis of them. Like it's like my favorite YouTube channel to watch. What do the rest of you guys think here? Do you think that the humans were the dolls here, so to speak?
I kind of think that myself. So that was a great way to point that out. So yeah, I thought that was kind of bizarre.
Here's another question for you guys. Why do you think that the husband burns up later in the movie? Annie tries to throw that book in the fire, and then she catches on fire, but she pretty much tries to bait him into throwing that book in, right? Knowing what's going to happen. But he ends up not doing it, and he burns up anyway. What did you guys think was going on there?
I thought that was the strange part of it. And I'm like, well, he was the good guy of the whole movie. So I guess they just had to get rid of him. The
Right.
demons did in order to, he was probably going to be the savior or something, in my opinion, is the way I was thinking of it if he hadn't have burned.
Way I
I
saw
felt like
it
they
was.
didn't.
Sorry, I forgot. I didn't see who his name was, but the way I saw it was after Annie saw her mom's body, I feel like something did get her, and that's when it clicked, and it was the curse got transferred over that kiss in a way, because the entire movie they don't show any type of affection to each other, but right before the book is thrown into the fire is when they kiss, and I felt like that was a transfer of the curse. I don't know, but that was just my thoughts on it.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jaden. I didn't think of that. Yeah,
You seal your fate with a kiss. That's I've always heard of that. Like you seal your fate with a kiss.
yeah, going back to the biblical, right, with Judas Iscariot with the kiss. Yeah, their marriage, it does seem very cold, even from the onset of the movie, right? Like he tries to like put her hand his hand on her shoulder, like while they're asleep. She like cringes and like gets up and goes and sleeps in the tree house.
Yeah, you could definitely tell there was some tension with their relationship.
It's kind of funny that this guy's a psychologist and everybody in his family's so kooky, right? That's kind of an irony in the movie. Jaden asked a question too about black and white. Of course, our last film, The Haunting, was in black and white. But of course, the Witch and The Lighthouse, two other movies that are pretty recent, are also in black and white, directed by Robert Eggers. Robert Eggers is another really good horror director right now.
The Northman has amazing reviews already, and I can't wait to watch it. He is my favorite new horror director.
I saw where he was remaking Nosferatu from.
With William Dafoe and Anya Taylor-Joy. Yeah, that's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. But yeah, what did you guys think of even the collar in the movie? Like, it's definitely it definitely feels very wintry. The mise en scene feels very winter, almost kind of like February, Marchish. Everything's drab and gray. Probably nothing extraordinary for a horror film here, but it definitely kind of puts you in that atmosphere.
I like that it was in color, but I also would like if it was in black and white too. It would have been more scarier, and I feel like it would have just been a whole different way about it if it was in black and white to me. Because when I was doing The Matrix, I was looking up like color theories and stuff, and I actually said that black and white movies are supposed to make people more anxious and things like that. So I think it would have been cool to see if it was in black and white, but I liked it in color.
I like the gray tone that kind of shows dread and makes the audience feel uneasy, and I think that's people's way now of trying to make the audience feel a little anxious is by making the movie more gray, so they don't have to revert to black and white, because most people would see black and white and kind of run from it now. But I like the color of the film. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah, if you want to see an experiment with color, watch Ari Aster's other movie, Midsummer. Like that whole movie is very bright and very bright colors all throughout the movie. Bright yellows, bright greens. like, but it's still a horror movie. So it kind of horror movies you would expect to be like this one, right? But that one is so bright and colorful that it somehow makes this bright, colorful, cheerful setting horrible. So if you want to see a movie that really experiments with color, watch that one. Jaden, I know you said that's one of your favorite movies.
It's such a good film. Like, okay, the head like flying off here in this movie with no like can't compare to any scene in that. The entire movie gives that feel, and I'm just saying, I love that movie. I watched it I actually watched it during the fall, and like for the first time, and that's my favorite movie. That and the movie Fresh. That are my two favorite movies, like horror, like today for horror films, up to date right now. My two favorite ones. That reminds me, next semester you need to add Fresh. That just came out on Hulu. You need to have your kids next semester watch it.
The school doesn't have me teaching this class in the fall right now. I'm going to have to egg them on, put me on the schedule. There's so much demand for English 101 in the fall that they're like, you mostly need to teach that. I'm just like, whatever. I'm still doing my literature class though, the one that Kashina and Stacy were in. So if any of you guys need a 200 level lit class in the fall, sign up. Be happy to have you.
Yeah, I got accepted into University of Cumberland's for next semester for the elementary education program. So I'm pretty excited but nervous about that.
Very nice, Kashina. Congrats.
Thank you.
That's not an easy job, elementary ed. That's what my wife does. And not an easy job. So.
Does she like it?
Oh yeah, she wouldn't do anything else. This year she's doing middle school autism. She wants to go back to elementary ed because that's been a rough job. It's very good. This was a great class, very great class. So I'm glad you guys, even if horror isn't your thing, I'm glad that you got something out of this movie. I definitely did my horror unit a little different this semester. I normally do more classics than I do. Like I've done The Exorcist and old John Carpenter movies and stuff like that. So I did more modern movies this semester than I normally do. But we're going to close our unit out on Thursday with watching the movie Us, and Chelsea will be presenting on Us on Thursday. So that will wrap us up. Or what'd you say, Eileen?
What is Us on? Is it on anything in particular?
No, I think you told me before, Eileen, you tried to look for it, but you couldn't find it anywhere. So that's probably one you'll have to rent. We just had bad luck with the streaming services this semester.
Apparently it's on Hulu with a premium subscription, but other than that, no.
You probably need Showtime or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I can get it then.
You're probably gonna have to rent it.
Yeah, that one just came out a couple of years ago too, and it's very psychological and strange, just like this one. So, we will look forward to Chelsea's presentation. Chelsea, if you want to send me your PowerPoint a little early, I'll be happy to give you some tips before you present.
Okay, I will.
All right, so good. So we'll wrap up horror this week, and next week, Aline, we will get to your favorite unit, which is the musical. So
Oh Lord, you're gonna hear me. Y'all's gonna everyone hear me. Gonna hear me complain about why did they have to stop the movie just for them to sing and dance?
so let me make sure I got everybody here, and then I'll let you guys go.
Whenever you do film again in the musical, you should do Mary Poppins. That's one of my favorites.
Mary Poppins fan.
Yes, I love it.
That's also one of my favorites, and I don't like musicals, but I like Mary Poppins.
I like Sweeney Todd and what was it? Sweeney Todd in Chicago. I was actually all throughout high school. I was part of the theater program there. I can never sing or dance, but I love to watch it.
Yeah, I can't sing or dance either. So you're not the only one. Is that how you know? Is that how you knew old Bill France, Jaden, when you were in high school?
I did Shrek the musical with him.
Did you?
And then I was a techie for Dracula. So, but I was part of multiple shows down there, either locally or just throughout high school doing a school show. They're fun to do, but they're so time consuming. If you don't have the mental energy to do it, to find your work life and do like this, I would not suggest it. It takes a lot out of you.
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened to me. I got sucked into that. It stole away like 3 weeks of my life there. So
You met Jeff Saunders. How did you feel about him?
I like Jeff. He's a cool guy. So.
I had him throughout high school. He made fun of my goats for dying of polio. So me and him are like in a feud constantly. But if you ever talk to him, just say, you know me. He's like, oh, I feel so bad for you. me and him like to pick on each other a lot.
Yeah, he's got a good personality, fun guy.
Would The Wizard of Oz be a musical?
Yeah, I would classify it as one. The King and I is probably my favorite. I like The King and I a lot.
Even that movie Grease, where they had to stop the whole show. I mean, the movie going on, they stop and sing and dance. And I'm like, oh my God, just get on with the movie.
I love Grease. So, okay, I do like musicals. I didn't think I like them, but I love Grease and I love Footloose and all those movies.
Eileen, I'm just saying this. If you watch Sweeney Todd, it will change your thoughts on music.
Really? I might have to.
If you're a horror fan like me, it helps with the singing and dancing, and it has Johnny Depp in it, so it can't go wrong.
Exactly. Johnny Depp is the best.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch that one then.
And they have Evil Dead, the musical too, but only in the theater. I want to see that sometime too. Like if you sit in the front row of the theater, you have to like wear a raincoat because like they spray so much fake blood in the play that it like gets on people in the audience. That sounds like something I need to go to. So.
That just sounds like a good time.
Yeah. I'm a big Evil Dead fan. That's a good horror series too. All right, guys, so take care. One last thing before I let you go. Right after class, I'm going to work on getting your prompt up for your paper 2. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to get the prompt together right after class, and I'm going to make a little short video. So I'll send the class an email later when that's up. Okay, so I'm working on that right now. And I'm hoping I get your first papers back to you by the end of the week. You guys are next up on my queue. So that's currently my hope, to get it to you by the end of the week. All right, so you can expect those back pretty soon. But I'll get the details up on the second paper today. It's mostly going to be a sequel, prequel, or remake analysis. So I'll give you a list of all the movies we've watched that have sequels, prequels, or remakes, and then you can kind of take your pick of which one you want to do. So yeah, I'll probably in about an hour I'll have that up for you. So we'll see you guys Thursday then for us.